the only thing I was scared of was what if my voice had become a barrier that day? Because see, this is something that I think I have genuinely learned in TBH circle. And this is how I've come from being a very underconfident person to being so sure about the skill set that I have. That I was not even scared. I would like to share about how when I started this bootcamp, I was like, I was always reminded of my potential by people, but I really never saw it through myself. Because, and that is what this program has made me believe. Like, it made me believe in myself that I could actually do anything I want. We actually had two batches in our college. I initially did not apply for the first batch because I heard so many comments, like negative.
Hello and welcome back to another catch up session. This is me, Anisha, and today we will be catching up with Sanjeevni, one of our alumni of Young Leader Bootcamp. So let's get into this and see what Sanjeevni has for us. Hello, welcome Sanjeevni.
Hi Anisha, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
It's been going good for me too.
Sanjeevni, really appreciate you being here with us. And yeah, thank you so much for being here.
I couldn't be happier being in this podcast, trust me.
Okay. So, Sanjeevni, tell us something about yourself. Help us understand who Sanjeevni is.
So I'm Sanjeevni Khurana, and the people I've interviewed with, I mean, the people I've given my interview to also know me as Spirited Sanjeevni because this is something I really say in interviews a lot. So, yeah, I'm Spirited Sanjeevni, and I'm a student of AIHM Chandigarh. And I've been a part of the Young Leaders Bootcamp by TBH Circle since a very long time. So, yeah, and also I got selected as a management trainee in Hilton. Recently, I got the results. So that's all about me.
So, congratulations on that, Spirited Sanjeevni. Okay. So, let's start from the very beginning, from the part where you actually started sitting for MTs, interviews, है ना? So, how many companies you sit for?
I think I was a part of a lot of campus recruitment processes. One of them
Mm-hmm.
being Hilton, of course. I was in Oberoi's and ITC. I also sat for Taj. I also sat for Park.
Okay, okay. And how was this preparation journey, interview journey was for you?
It was like a rigorous process for me, and I mean, it was a good experience because I got to explore a lot of things about myself. And when we're preparing the questions, all of that stuff, when you're doing, I think that you get to know yourself so much better than you have ever known about yourself before. Because when you prepare for the questions that who am I, so it gets a bit deep, and sometimes you get existential crisis because of that. Because who am I don't know. So, but a lot of self development and a lot of confidence building. Whenever you go to GDs, you talk amongst a lot of people, a lot of good people. You see your competition. It's scary, it's exciting at the same time, and you know that where you actually stand in the crowd. So that is how it was for me, and I got to know so much about myself. I got to know so much about other people who are sitting for interviews,
Mm-hmm.
what their points are, what my weak points are, how I can see better people to make myself better like them, or just a mix and match of all that.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more on that. Ki if asked to write about yourself, you feel like who I am. This question remains the same. कि मैं क्या लिखूं अपने बारे में? It always happens, no matter how much you practice and prepare. But yes, definitely, I agree with you. So, Sanjeevni, you are going to join Hilton, right?
Yes.
Was it by choice, or did you get offers from other brands as well?
I did get selected in Taj too. I got
Okay.
selected in Taj as HOT, Hotel Operational Trainee. And I guess I already got the result for Hilton. So I didn't really go for the final rounds of other companies. Like, I could not appear for the final round of the park.
Right.
So I did reach around till fifth round of ITC, but
Hmm.
then unfortunately I could not move forward with that, as like they did not select me further.
Okay. So,
Apart from that, I yeah, I was in the middle processes of IHG too, but somehow didn't get selected for that too.
right.
So Hilton was the one I got selected for as an MT, and just Taj.
Great. So if I may ask, um, you are going to join Hilton, right? So walk me through the MT process that Hilton has. How many stages are there, and what all skill sets you have to prepare for that?
Okay, so Hilton was the first company that came in our college. So
Hmm.
everybody was really excited, and I'm going to be thoroughly transparent about what my journey has been like, because I was the person who initially was sitting for the campuses of kitchen, because I was really interested in kitchen. I was keen into bakery, and I do also have a home bakery of myself. So yeah, it just the interest was just from that basis,
Right.
and because Hilton, when we sat for it, I was really hoping to go in kitchen, but our college did not really inform us about the departments because our placement cell did not know themselves about it. So what
Right.
happened was, when we were sitting in the presentation, they told us about what departments are they actually here for, and kitchen was not a part of it. It was such a bummer. I'm not kidding. And then I don't know what happened to me. I was like, let's go for front office.
Hmm.
Let's sit for front office. And yeah, this is what happened. I applied for front office. What Hilton has is the system is very sought through. They
Hmm.
have first three rounds as online rounds only. You have to apply from their website. They shared us the QR codes. Overall, I think it was a very systematic process, because their entire selection criteria is based on selection through AI. They sought people through the artificial intelligence softwares they must have.
Hmm.
So we were supposed to send our resumes. I think over 30,000 people in the country. What they told us is they shared their resumes in the first round, the online round. As far as I can remember, I'm not sure about the exact data.
Number.
So
Hmm.
what happened was, after our resumes were sorted through, they sent a confirmation mail for the next round to us, that we are selected for the test, a psychometric test that we were supposed to give. So after sorting us through that psychometric test that we gave through their website, then we received another confirmation mail for an online interview. It was
Hmm.
again a AI based interview that was on a app, I
Hmm.
suppose. So we did that again, and I think sorting through all the processes after that was, I think, the final online round we had, the interview that we did. And then we got a mail that we were called to the assessment center for the final, the last round, corporate round, that was held in Gurgaon. It was
Right.
in the Hilton Bani Square, Gurgaon,
Hmm.
Gurugram. So, yeah, that was it. And when we went to the assessment center too,
Hmm.
uh, I loved the entire process. They were so smooth with everything. And I think one of the best parts about giving that interview was, it felt so, it was also spontaneous. We had our three rounds, physical rounds. They had people all from all over the country, like the HODs of Hilton, like tons of general managers there, only to assess
Right.
our performance. And it was, I mean, their criteria, the selection criteria, they were so clear about what kind of people they want. They were only and only looking for culture, and trust me, I don't know what they were looking for. But you get it, right? Because they
Yes.
were had a like selection criteria. It was a definite criteria, and they selected very few people. Everybody
Mm.
had a great interview. All the colleagues I went with, everybody had a great interview. We had 3 rounds. First of the round was extempore, and what was very unique in the extempore part was that we had to speak for around 2 minutes, like 2 minutes or 4 minutes, I guess, for a very
Mm.
long time. I guess it was supposed to be for 4 minutes.
Mm.
Yes, I remember now. It was for 4 minutes, and they gave us 1 minute preparation time on the spot because this is something that I had not seen in other selection processes in other companies. Because normally it's only 30 seconds extempore. Nobody takes more than the 30 seconds extempore. So that was very unique. So they gave us preparation time. They also allowed us to use our phones in our preparation time. So it was very shocking to see, but I did utilize all my 1 minute. So and their topics were really very out of the way.
Mm.
So I guess they were only trying to see how spontaneous a person can be. Other round was on the same day, the corporate round, in the assessment center. We had a
Right.
group discussion that was a case study. We
Mm-hmm.
were a group of 5 people who were put in a conference room, and a panel, you won't believe, a panel of 11, the 11 people from Hilton were actually observing us. Only 5 people. So it does get scary sometimes because you get intimidated by seeing so many people, half of them being general managers, few of them being the HR heads of the entire country. So, and then we were given a case study, and we had to discuss about it for 15 minutes. So after that, we had our interviews. A lot other people, like people were segregated into groups, and certain people were sent to uh, like there were two panelists who were taking the interview of us, and everybody gave an interview, like a long interview, like minimum 30 minutes. I had my interview for over 50 minutes,
Mm.
and it was a really
It's long.
it was a conversation. It was it was one of the best interviews of my life, if I may add. I
Mm.
really loved talking to them. They were very welcoming, and they were making the student, the person, feel so comfortable. But I feel that that is what they actually wanted to do. Like, they were trying to make us so comfortable that we lose our boundary, and that is what somebody should not do. Like, they should never do.
Right.
So, and a lot of my friends also went with me for the Hilton interview, and I guess they selected 90 people from all over India for the corporate round, the final round, and they only ended up selecting 27, 26 or 27
But total, how many total number of participants were there, like applicants?
applicants. I think over 30,000 applicants.
Mm.
That is the number. That is what they told us in the final day presentation.
Right.
I think somewhere around that only, 25 to 30,000, because all of them were sought through the psychometric test and the resumes and then the online interviews. So,
Mm-hmm.
what the process of Hilton was like.
Competition is very tough
Was
there.
not expecting the competition to be so high, and every person that I met in the corporate round, I mean, I was confident in myself, but each and every person was equally intimidating.
Definitely.
And it's a scary process because it's about a job that you are going to get on certain
Right.
basis. So you have to be your 120% at that day. And
Mm.
when I went there, I actually had my Taj interview a day before. And when I gave my interview in Chandigarh, I had to travel to Gurgaon the same day in the evening. And I was not at all well. I had such a bad throat. If you would have listened to that voice of mine, like right now, you would have laughed, trust me, because it was that terrible. And I was like, most of like I'm usually a very confident person because I
Right.
know what I have to offer. Okay, what kind of skills do I bring to the table? But
Yeah.
at that point, when your health is not good, that is a very low point for you, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
when I was sick also, I was traveling, it was very tiring. So I was scared because of that I might not appear to be tired or appear to be frustrated, or
Right.
I might not end up appear like to be anxious and all that. So it was scary, and I could not speak till the morning. I drank a lot of green tea, kada, whatnot, and I took a lot of medicines. Still, I think I was able to pull it through. And I was like really proud of myself for actually speaking there because it was taking so much effort for me to even put words out of my mouth. And I think they also saw that, like, they knew that I was not well because it was showing, like, it was in my voice. But I was trying my best. I was just pushing it through somehow. It was really
And you
scary. And
made it.
yeah, until the date I was waiting for my results, I was not thinking about, what I might have done wrong because I, as a person, I had 100% faith in what kind of efforts I have put. I was
Right.
not at all questioning that at that point. The only thing I was scared of was what if my voice had become a barrier that day? Because it's also a very funny story that when we got the results, a person in my college also got selected, and he received a call from the respected, the respective hotel that he got placed into.
Right.
So he received the call and I did not. And that one day I know how I have spent. But yeah, I was only scared about the voice thing. Because see, this is something that I think I have genuinely learned in TBH circle. And this is how I've come from being a very underconfident person to being so sure about the skill set that I have that I was not even scared about how I might have messed up the interview that day. The only
Right.
thing I was about was my voice. And this really, I think this is a very live example that I can show that this is what I have come from. Like, only because of
Definitely.
all the guidance and every session that I have attended and everything. It was a complete, crux of that day that I have to show.
Definitely. When you talk about resume shortlisting and how AI is the now new HR in this field, right? They are the ones who will be shortlisting the resumes, and how case studies, wala part you said, right? I think firstly you are very nervous in this kind of process, right? And next, अगर आपको कुछ sudden मिल जाएगा, case studies are the things which are given to you, thrown at you, right? अगर आप
Hmm.
prepared नहीं होंगे तो it will be very hard. And I can
Not
proudly
without
say
doubt, yeah.
USPs of USPs of this Young Leader Bootcamp is storytelling, case studies, right? And gamification. उन सबसे you are prepared for such things, right? So I can
Definitely.
completely agree what you said. Ki throat was your main concern, not how you performed, because you were prepared for that, right?
I most definitely was. And I think at this point, I can never say this overconfidence, but I can only say this that I had a faith because I knew somehow or the other, like, I am going to do. Because even, like, I think all the channels that we have been through, the training sessions that we had, all I can say is that that there might not even a single training session that I have not attended. I have all the online ones, all the offline sessions that we had, because I just wanted to keep my, like, confidence at a priority level. Because, and it's
Right.
not about confidence. I think the way you have to present your answers, because most of the time, trust me, people would not even, need something like that if they knew how to put forward, because everybody knows the answers of every question in this world, but people just don't know how to put them in words, like how to present it in front of people, so it is so accessible for others to get knowledge about you. And that is how, that is the game about all of this.
Definitely, definitely. And I think Young Leader Bootcamp, one feature of Young Leader Bootcamp is public speaking also, which teach you how to articulate your thoughts well, no matter what you know and what you not. It's just if you were not able to articulate your thought, game done, right?
And I think this is a bubble that you have to break and come outside of. You know, when we talk about public speaking, you have to keep a lot of things in mind. And the cheat code of all of it is, you know, just pretending that you're speaking alone, nobody's in front of you. And sometimes, you know, when you are in situations, it does get very, you know, scary when you are talking in front of so many people. But practice is what makes a man perfect. A very
Definitely.
common idiom. And like, you know, when you look into the eyes of people and when you talk, it really shows that you are not scared of anything, even when you're, you know, hell scared. But you just don't have to present it in front of people, because nobody knows if you are a timid person, if you are a very brave person. Like, it all goes in vain once, like, you know, first impression is the last impression. If you're speaking in front of people, they just should get the idea of what you're actually trying to portray at that
Definitely.
point.
Certainly. And all this come by rigorous practice and right mentorship.
Yeah, it
Definitely.
does make very big difference, because you know, when I joined TBH Circle, we had a guest lecture of Mr. Vikram in our college. And after the word was out that you can enroll for a boot camp and all of that, we actually had two batches in our college.
Hmm.
I initially did not apply for the first batch because I heard so many comments, like negative
Yes,
feedback.
I also heard that your first impression was kind of negative, right? You heard a lot of negative things. So I was going
But
to ask you, what's
I know,
changed you?
see, even though there was a lot of negative feedback, I as a person believe that there are always two possibilities of a coin. Like, there are two kinds of people in the world. One are always going to say bad things about you. One are always going to, you know, appreciate, or they just see the good in people. So even after, like, see, it's not about how I received a lot of negative comments. I did get genuine feedbacks from people who have actually cracked their interviews. So it's all about, you know, when people don't get their way through, they like to blame their own problems on others. And, you know, it's just a reflection of their own issues
Right.
sometimes. It's a normal human nature. You can't blame anybody for that, trust me. But it's just the behavior, and I could really analyze that at some point of time, because all the people who usually speak negative things about, uh, be it bootcamp, be it anything, I think they were the people who actually, I personally, I don't know if I should say this, but in a very polished language, I think they did not get through a very, like, you know, good company. They did not really get a lot of uh, good jobs in hand. And most certainly, not even one person out of them I have seen who has cracked an empty program.
Right.
So you just have to bring your intellect at crucial situations like these, because that is how you can actually analyze that. Are you going to listen to people who have, like, gotten nowhere, or are you going to listen to people who have always been humble? And it's the humbleness that takes you to places sometimes. So, like, I listened to 50 people, for example, say bad things, but I did listen to only two people say good things, and that were the two good things, the two genuine feedbacks that made me join this program. And that is how I ended up in the second batch and not the first one, because I, as a person, was also confused about it. Like, if I should go for it, if I should not go for it.
And you did go for it. And I also wanted to ask you, I got to know that you also did sales bootcamp. So
Yeah, I
what
did.
happened? Like, was it that fruitful कि आपने sales bootcamp करने का भी सोचा?
I think a sales boot camp was something. See, because I was initially sitting for kitchen, I told earlier. But after I actually, dropped kitchen, I did sit for kitchen in Oberoi's. And but when we had to give our names for ITC, one of my friends really suggested me that maybe I should sit for sales because I'm already sitting for front office in Hilton. And I don't know, somewhere or the other, I had this interest in sales because I had seen sales and marketing in my hotel too when I was in my industrial training. So I don't know, I just gave a thought to it. Maybe I should sit for sales because somehow or the other, I think I had to be practical. Kitchen is my passion, no doubt. It's always going to be my passion. But I believe that your passion does not always have to be your profession, because you may be interested in singing, but you can't just make your profession being a musician, all right? So this is what I thought, and I went for sales in ITC. I got through the first 4 rounds. I got selected for the fifth round, and I believe when I was in my fourth round, I guess, then the sales bootcamp was introduced. So I most definitely joined the bootcamp because I knew that it somehow or the other would definitely help me from, like, with the sales technicals, the because speaking with a sales professional who's actually teaching you, the person, like, he's such a senior in the industry. When he's talking about sales, there is always something or the other you can grasp from a person, no matter what kind of a person they are, what field they are in, because everybody has something or the other to offer, and that is what you take from all of them. So I knew that it's going to be a really good opportunity for me if I joined the boot camp. And we did end up having so much fun. We had live projects, and we actually, had to. We were divided into teams, and we had to sell a team, like a IPL cricket team. That's just an example that I'm telling. An instance that happened in the live project in the sales and marketing boot camp. So it was really interesting, when you get to interact with people from so many other colleges, because there were people I know from IHM Hyderabad, IHM Bhopal, IHM Pusa. We had people from IHM Ahmedabad, one of them from Mumbai. They all
Right.
had the sales and marketing boot camp. And it's not about where you stand in a crowd in your own college, but, like, this industry is so vast that you can't compare yourself from people who are in your college only, because it's such a small parameter to look through. So it gave me an opportunity to actually see myself in between a crowd of people from other colleges. And it was such an enlightenment for me because I could use that knowledge that other people were sharing in the boot camps, in the sales and marketing thing, that their ideas. I did end up using some of those ideas in my actual interview processes. Can you believe? Like, that is what I was actually looking for. I just needed perspectives, because when you get 50 perspectives, you can sort through them, and you get 20 new ideas. Out of the 20 new ideas, 5 are the ones you can actually imply in your answers or in whatever you do. And I think 2 of those answers are something that stand you out, like make you stand out. And in some cases, one of those idea actually takes you through an empty process that I got in Hilton.
Definitely. And very rightly said. We also here at TBH believe that learning with industry experts, a person who has experience of say 20, 30 years, you get a more insightful view into the field that you are looking at, say sales, right? Definitely. Couldn't agree more on that. Okay. So Sanjeevni, would love to ask ki this whole process in which you are required to go through several rounds of interview, right? And you are assessed based on different skill sets, right? On every stage of the interview. What were the challenges, the major challenges that you were facing during this whole interview process?
I believe that one of the major challenges that I personally felt was when I was writing my answers, the clarity of thought that I could not have on my own. Like when you have a clarity of thought, you know what you're going to speak in front of the people who are going to interview you. Also in GDs, when you have a clarity of thought, you can actually speak about the situations and the case studies that you get. So until and unless you have that, I don't think you really stand anywhere, because you can't put your opinion. If people don't understand that, it's really irrelevant. So clarity of thought is something that I struggled with from the start. Uh, and I think in the middle of my interview process, during when I was preparing for ITC, during Taj, it has always been there in Hilton too. But I think when you talk about how guidance and mentorship is really important, as you said in the starting, I think that Mr. Vikram really helped me out with the clarity of thought. And he pushed me into thinking, like, he was literally, I mean, making me think so deep into my own self that, oh, like, what do I actually mean with that? Because he was always there to guide me through it, but he was never there to take me during, like, the road. I had to cross that road from my own self, because he's not going to do the job. I eventually have to. So I mean, that guidance also means a lot sometimes, because when you're lost somewhere, you don't know where to go, like whether you're supposed to go to left or to right. And I think that direction is really something that makes a difference. And I think that is all about it, about the challenges. I think I can't really think of other challenges that I had. I would like to share about how when I started this boot camp,
Hmm.
uh, I was like, I was always reminded of my potential by people, but I really never saw it through myself. And that is what this program has made me believe. Like, it made me believe in myself that I could actually do anything I want, to be to be fair. So that is it. The confidence building is very important. That's it.
Definitely, definitely. Confidence, though, it's very important. No matter what you think of yourself, if your mentors are guiding you and motivating you in the right way, you will go through
Yeah.
anything.
It is
Definitely.
something that makes or breaks your entire interview. So it's
Right
always,
mentorship. That's right.
yes.
Yes, definitely. Um, okay, so your main challenge, as I gather, was like writing answer, articulating your thoughts together, putting it into answer, right? Okay. And how? What was your learning from that? Like you said, how Vikram sir helped you in all this process. What was your main learning from that, if I may ask?
I think you really have to trust yourself with your answers, because sometimes you end up building. We know about the technology nowadays, the AI, and of course, Chat GPT. You can go there and you can search for answers. It's going to give you the answer, but it's not going to be like from your within. And
Right.
you always need to put your entire heart out into writing something that you believe, like when you believe into something. For example, like questions like why do you want to do sales, or why front office, or why this particular hotel, why this brand, not other brands. So that's all about it. Like when you actually put your heart out into it, it sounds so original, because it
Mm.
actually is original. You don't have to make it sound original, because if you actually write it yourself, you can take help from n number of people, from the mentors of the boot camp, from your friends. When you get honest, when you take honest feedback from people who are close to you, your best friends, your family, your colleagues in college, and teachers, most importantly, when you get that different kind of, how do I put it in words, the
Feedback,
feedback, the
right?
feedback, yeah. So when you get that feedback about yourself, about what you actually get to know what you believe in, when I say that I like to call myself spirited Sanjeevni, it is something that's not what I figured out on my own. It is something that my family made me figure out. My teachers, when they were explaining about how I like to go out of my way to do things, how I like to, always be so motivated about things. That is what actually made me think about how I could be very spirited when I put all my heart out into things. So, this is where I got the word from. And this is just an example. And I think it explains all of what I was trying to say earlier.
Definitely. Certainly it did. Right. Sanjeevni, you did the Young Leader Bootcamp with us, right? If I may ask, what is that one USP of this bootcamp that you really liked or that helped you immensely, that you really enjoyed?
Um, I think this may be wrong because, like, it was not the boot camp, but I think this boot camp is where I learned consistency. There are 50 people from my college almost who did this young leaders boot camp, but I think I only can name a few who actually stayed through all the classes, and it made me believe. It made me realize about the importance of consistency. And I think Mr. Vikram has been saying this all along about the consistent, being disciplined, being, you
Right.
know, making your future your priority, because nobody is going to run behind people that you should come to the class or you should join it because you have to get a job and you have to crack an interview, because this is something that comes from within. When
Right.
I speak earlier about like being original or putting your heart into things, because when you think that you pay for a certain course, you're gonna crack OCLD in 3 days. It's not possible because it's not going to happen until you want it to happen. So the USP of bootcamp is, I would say that you urge people to be consistent. Obviously, it's all their choice. It's all their
Effort.
thing that they want to do it or not. But for me personally, I can't say for others that I learned consistency. I learned the importance of a lot of things. And I think that's all about it, because, consistency is the key. And when you start building yourself up on a particular pattern that you have to attend a class, and when you start spending some designated amount of time every day, every 2 days, or twice a week, it does make all the difference, because you are spending that time not preparing or not doing anything but knowing your own self. Because if you don't know yourself, you can never crack an interview, because people, the industry leaders out there, they are searching for a management trainee. And a management trainee, trust me, is kind of a big deal, because there are so many people who are doing hospitality management all over the country. And I think management training is a program that is very important, that kickstarts your career. If you are really far sighted and you really, have decided to be in this industry for a long amount of time, and you are going to invest yourself in this industry. See, we all know that hospitality is not as glamorous as it looks like, but just, yeah. So, like, that's what makes a difference. And consistency is something that has helped me through everything. It has made me disciplined. It has made me realize the importance of things. And I'm really grateful for Mr. Vikram that he really pushes people through, that you have to do it, because that is the push that you sometimes need. You really don't do it alone. I am not a perfect person, and I also, just don't wake up and start studying or start preparing. I also need some kind of a push, and that was the push that he gives. So whether you take it in a good way or not, I think that's really necessary to some extent.
Right. Um, I I can say, following what you said, that it's not a 2 or 3 or a week long thing that you do, or you get placed. It's a long game that you have to be consistent and you have to do a lot of practice, right? And this brings me to one of our perks that we offer at Young Leader Bootcamp called Post the Program, right? Would love to know your views on how helpful is post the program feature for you, where we provide mentorship for like next 365 days. We handhold you, we guide you, we mentor you. How was that helpful for you?
See, that 3 day boot camp, the offline one that I attended personally, that was just a start of the entire journey. The post the program feature has something that has actually made all the difference. We know there are very few actual courses like this in the market, because this is something very unique and it's targeting college students. So this is what has made all the difference, because when you get constant support, when you're getting constant guidance, you're also getting some kind of motivated that somebody else cares about my job, why should I not care about my job, you know.
Right.
This is what it actually comes to in the end, that call it psychological or whatever, it really guilt trips you into doing better. So this is what has worked for me, because sometimes I like used to, I know it's not a good thing, but sometimes I really used to think about how other people are putting effort into me being better, so why should I not push for being a more better version of myself? Because you never stop learning, there's never a stop to it. You become the prime minister of the country, you still have so much to learn. So you're just a student, maybe 20-year-old, and you're just putting your foot into the industry, and it is such a long journey. Cracking a management trainee, I must say it is a big deal, but it's just the starting, and you don't even know what's coming your way, because these are the interviews that you're giving to come inside the circle. But how to survive in the circle, that is what, that the values that you have, the things you've actually learned, are going to decide if you're going to stay there or not. That's it.
Definitely. Right. Very well said. Very interestingly put that consistency and practice is what makes us, and showing up, right? Just showing up for the
Yeah,
practice
I mean,
sessions, for
showing up is
everything.
what, you're so right, because when you don't show up in the practice sessions, it means that you don't want to show up for yourself. Then how do you really expect people to come and put cake into your plate for you to eat? Because that is not how it works at all.
Right. So I think we have talked a lot about how Young Leader Bootcamp helped you, how it helped you be a future leader, right? How it helped you in communication and being consistent, everything.
Yeah,
Um, right. I was just ask you one last question about if you were to give one piece of advice for, say, your juniors or the students who are going to sit for MT soon, what would be that piece of advice from your side?
um I think I don't have one piece of advice, but I mean, I have a lot to say. But
Right.
most definitely, if I were to say only one thing, I think when you're talking about consistency, because that is something we talked about a lot, it's not like you should never aim for perfection. You should always aim for progression, that you are progressing and you are, getting to your way, what your actual aim is, and all that. So consistency is the key, no doubt. Just don't listen to people that who are gonna say that, don't do that, because this is something like you're investing in yourself, not anywhere else. And when you invest in yourself, it always shows, and it's going to result in something or the other, definitely, because you are a priority for yourself, and you should always care about what you want to do, not about what other people think. uh, People tend to be, people pleasers. I have been through that phase, trust me. Getting out of that, actually showing up for yourself, being confident in your own way, standing up for who you are, is something that you should always remember. Even during the boot camp, you're gonna get that, because you will learn how to do that. because that is what the entire program is all about, building yourself. So until and unless you build yourself, you have that confidence in yourself, uh, things might not work. So this is just a plus point that you're doing, that you're investing in yourself. If you put 20% effort into being better for yourself every day, you will not even know that at some point you're going to reach to the level when you're actually putting 100%. You started with 20 and you reached till 100, and it does not stop. And the next day when you're putting 100% effort, you're going to put 120, then 150. It's infinity. And you're only going to get better for yourself, not for anybody else.
No,
Just
very well said.
just aim on making yourself proud.
Definitely. Very well said when you mentioned an investment. Um, a Young Leader Bootcamp or Sales and Marketing Bootcamp, how it acts like an investment for your own self that you do with us, right? And it definitely pays off.
It does pay
So,
off.
yeah,
I can 100% vouch on the fact that it does pay off. You are going to get your way. You are going to reach to the level that you aspire to be if you put like efforts in yourself. Because Tibet Circle is an amazing organization, and the mentors there, when you put your 10% effort, they will put the 90% effort to complete that 100. So this is what happens. Just show up for yourself. There are tons of people who are going to show up for you, and you will not even believe that it's actually true.
very interestingly said that you and TBAT Circle together makes it 100% for you and us also, right? It was a very interesting conversation. Um, very interesting. I enjoyed it a lot. And I think our viewers also got to learn a lot, got to enjoy a lot, right? And I think we have now come to a conclusion of this session. I again would like to thank you and appreciate you taking out the time and being here with us, sharing every experience you had and everything. Thank you so much, Sanjeev.
Yeah, thanks a lot for inviting me. And I am the kind of person who always have something or the other to say. Uh, I like to believe in positive affirmations, and I think I had a great time talking to you.
Definitely. I heard a lot from Vikram about you, and it was really a pleasure talking to you directly here on this platform. So
Yeah,
thank you.
thank
I
you. Thank
wish you a very
you.
beautiful, bright future ahead. And yes, thank you so much, Sanjeevni.
Stay in touch. Thank you.